Indianapolis. Indianapolis with our My Little Pony food. Oh, it's a chase event. What do we do here?
Chase.
Chase. Oh, okay. Racer Rebels have finished through traffic-filled circuit.
Okay. So it's Seattle commuting.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are built for this.
Oh, yeah. So you're. This is Ricky Bobby rules. Like you're either first or you're nothing. Apparently.
Thank you, Barbara Jules.
Beautiful, dainty, 6 pound, 7 ounce baby Jesus lying on the manger and with KFC and the Mountain Dew.
Oh God!
Whatever.
What are we doing? All right, you had told me that you'd sparked something on the Windows Phone, and I just do we want to really get into this, or do we want to talk about this?
We can keep talking about car. I mean, like that's.
We can talk cars, we can talk Windows Phone, but I mean, like Windows had massive problems, or should I say,
wait, is this
Office.
Is this within your NDA? Is this opinion?
No, man.
Is this trade secrets?
We're in trade secrets. I am 5 to 6 years out of my NDA to have to worry about any of this anymore. But Microsoft had hard problems, or the Office team had hard problems delivering on the RT hardware. And what I mean by RT is anything that had to do with RISC-based processing. So there are what is the term chip I'm looking for here? Snapdragon was based on the I can't remember which processor.
Well, Snapdragon. I mean, aren't those all SoC?
Yeah. Oh
but,
God, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, but they weren't CISC. They were RISC.
Yeah, they're RISC. Those all RISC-based chips, but delivering Windows on RISC-based architecture for getting the name of the chip type, because late in driving cars, they really had a hard time delivering on that with all the feature sets and everything that was necessary. Because I mean, they played Intel for a long time, right? It was CISC based for to go way down the spiral of technology, but they went. So the difference is you have CISC, which is like this very robust instruction set on the processor.
It's literally complex instruction set.
Yeah. And where RISC is, you've got to math everything. It's a reduced or a very simple instruction set. So you're just gonna math everything it's like one step above your GPU.
Drift mode, baby. Yeah, you're not calling libraries or anything else. Like exactly. Yeah, you're boiling it down to the to the bare minimum as much as you can.
And so delivering Office on that was a challenge for them for a long time, but they were getting inside. I mean, they were delivering on different APIs than what the third-party developers could deliver on for those products, and that was my problem. Like there were so many. Like I worked in the location awareness group, right? And you're like ripping through a race, and I'm going, meanwhile at Microsoft.
Meanwhile, ones and zeros, blah, blah, blah.
I love this. So this juxtaposed between gaming and my day job.
Hey, we are playing on an Xbox. This is all Microsoft pertinent.
That's right. But when it came down to it, for internal product, they had access to better APIs than the third-party people did. I mean, when we were talking, and I worked on the location awareness stuff. I mean, that's where my patents are from. That's what I worked on. It was all in GPS and location awareness for phones and computers and everything that had a Windows license behind it. And with that in mind, we had to build two separate API sets. What we'd allow people in the Windows Phone to use because they wanted simplistic, and what we could deliver for internal people on Windows Phone. And for people on Windows 7, 8, 8.1, and 10, really. I mean, you can say what you want. I left right as 10 was starting to release, but there was so much of
and that's
what
why I still
me and my group did
on my desktop.
Yeah. You what, really?
on my tower I do. My laptop, which is 99% of my use, has 10, but my my ripping and graphics machine is still running 8.1 for some reason.
Wow, I haven't looked at 8.1 in long ass time.
It's an adjustment on the rare occasion that I do go back to.
Yeah, I bet. Jesus, 10 is still a thing. I mean, well, 10's obviously still a thing, but I mean,
7's dead. 8 is still plodding along.
Yeah, and 10 has gone through what, 4 renditions since?
Yeah, something like that.
That is nuts.
They just don't throw the hey, that's not bad.
Nah,
they just don't throw the decimal point behind it anymore. Like it's just 10.
Yeah. No, that's a solid showing. While I was literally ranting, you have done a great job at gaming.
I think when I let you talk and I shut my trap, I do better.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Well, that was a chase race too. So that was the dynamic. I guess plays into my limited skill set.
I've got a skill set good for chase. Yeah. It sounds very much like a kick back out of what was the
Taken?
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
I have a very limited skill set,
but it's a nightmare for you. Well,
if I need to race cars on an easy difficulty setting to get my daughter back, I will do it, and I will beat you.
If I have to chase you through Indianapolis, you're done. All right, so Barcelona, Spain, home of the most expensive soccer team that has bankrupted a country ever.
Man, yeah, and oh no, that was Brazil that had the recent catastrophic Summer Olympics, right?
Yeah, it was Brazil, and now it's off to Tokyo.
Hundreds of workers died building the stadium, and all the athletes were poisoned from like dirty water. And
really, I didn't hear about that part.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
I think. Oh yeah, the lakes that all the rowing teams and everything they were supposed to participate in like tested so toxic for fecal matter and stuff like that. Like a week before the games, that there was a massive crisis, and I think they basically just like fuck the wildlife or whatever, and they dumped like thousands of gallons of bleach in there to like try to make it so people could actually like
compete without dying.
Not die if they got splashed, or not contract like hepatitis if they got splashed in the face.
That is nuts.
Yeah, like there were a lot of deaths in the haphazard construction of the stadiums, and the all of the accommodations for both athletes and tourists were just like nightmarish and only partially functional and everything. Like it was a huge embarrassment for them.
Man,
but I digress.
That makes Sochi sound so much better.
Yeah, right.
Their biggest sin was 2 toilets in the same space.
Right. Yeah. yeah. Whoops, we forgot to put up a divider.
Well, I mean, there were so many workers that worked on that did not get paid.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure that has happened in every country that has ever hosted an Olympics ever. But Alaska,
or a FIFA Cup.
Alaska was a competitor for the Winter Olympics in like '84 and '88.
Yeah,
and thankfully they didn't get it because.
Oh, I can't imagine.
You look at any city, any country that ended up hosting that, and it just ended up, being a nightmare leading up to it, and then like just trying to, maintain that limited value tourist attraction after the fact was just like a drain on infrastructure and everything else. Like we were probably better off that we did not get the Winter Olympics either of those years. Like it would have ruined Alaska and everything else.
Well, I mean, everything I've seen, and come on, don't overheat it. There you go. Keep in it. I like your line. It's a good line.
I own the outside.
Yeah.
Screw you, Mazda.
Oh man, look at that! You're right behind the Chevy Blazer or whatever that is. Well, that's a Honda, some kind of Honda. It's got that shit wing in the rear window, and then just beat him up. And all right. I'm not gonna say anything because I'm not curse you right now. But I mean, everything I've seen is you look at what has happened to these Olympic sites, 5, 6, 10 years, 20 years later, and
just falling apart.
Yeah, and to wrap it back into cars, I mean. My Subaru, the final build on my favorite one, Oscar, it was finished in Lake Placid, and Taylor who helped me kind of put it all and finish it up and make sure it was done right. You took me on the Olympic tour, so to speak, and it's
just sad.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a little sad. I mean, at this point, it's so far removed. They've repurposed a lot of it and stuff like that. But there's stuff that just isn't used anymore. But at least it's in a, not to say other, other areas
it's
can't figure it out, but
repurposed for collegiate training and stuff like that. But yeah, it's never going to be its former glorious self again.
And
it's disposable infrastructure.
Yeah,
and for the most part.
And you're talking about stadiums that are hosting 130,000 people and that can't do anymore, right?
The greatest competitions in the world. But yeah, like after that fanfare dies down, like nobody's gonna want to go back to Salt Lake City, whatever for an event of that magnitude. So,
I'd forgotten that Lake Placid even hosted Olympics until I was back there, and he's like, "Hey, we finished your car up. You want to see like Lake Placid?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, "And the Olympics were here," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing."
Right. Because that was kind of before our our time.
Exactly.
Like before that, stuff like that was really on our radar.
Yeah. And so just hearing a bit about Brazil, like, and my friend went and she brought her family down. They did that and they went through things, but I mean, she was definitely talking about like everything had to be hosted with armed guards and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
International tensions and everything else.
I should ask Heather about how like the fallout from the Vancouver Olympics. I totally want to go up there to check out curling, and I never did get up there.
Josie and I were up there we went up for the Vancouver Olympics.
Excellent.
We had tickets to see some hockey. I should say she had tickets to see some hockey, and I was lucky enough to go along because we were dating at the time. And, and
how'd that Josie thing work out, by the way?
It's doing okay so far. It's been 10 years. We're still plucking away.
I still my favorite wedding thing ever is you guys in the Post-it notes.
Oh awesome. Yeah, and that was all her. Like I can't take credit for that. It was just along for the ride. But
oh man, I was chuckling like crazy with that. It was amazing.
Yeah, but like
anyway, back to Olympics.
We went up there, and the Olympic. I mean, like having walked around those parts of Vancouver plenty of times in the past, like it was kind of interesting to see how they had kind of like converted it to Olympic life, or whatever. But
yeah,
I haven't like we've been back up there since, but
keep it on, man! Come on, you've been doing so good.
You know, like I don't see anybody in my rear view.
I was gonna say,
thank you, easy mode. But
Ryan's not gotten better. We've made the game better.
We've been up.
You've actually done much better to stay on the track.
We've been up for a couple Red Wings games, or whatever. But those are usually just a day trip or something like that. So we haven't really walked around. But I guess when the Wings go up to play the Canucks, the hockey happens in the newer of the two stadiums and stuff like that.
Rogers,
it felt like they didn't do a whole lot of construction, at least for the events that we were looking at, because Rogers had just been completed, and then they still had the older arena.
That car is too fucking clean.
There was,
I mean, look at that shit. You can still read the logos.
There was the weird like visitor center that they had built to promote the Russian, the next Olympics in Russia or whatever, and then but a lot of the Olympic Village was just open street areas where they had set up tents and official areas and stuff like that. There wasn't nearly as much new construction as there was as there needed to be. I feel like because again it's mountainous, so obviously like Whistler and the ski resorts and stuff like that probably put a lot more effort into it, but I feel like the infrastructure that you need to support the Summer Olympics is so much more, because the tracks and indoor stadiums and all the gymnastics and things like that. Like I feel like if you have to build more, like for the winter, Yeah, like you go to the existing mountains, because presumably if you're bidding for the Winter Olympics, you're in a mountainous region or whatever. And like, you maybe put up another lift, you push the snow around a little bit differently. So you've got like, your slalom course and your GS course and your half pipe and, your other snowboarding courses and stuff like that. So basically you kind of split up the mountain differently than you would if it was just, recreational people showing up to do their shushing or, or whatever. Yeah. And then, obviously, you've got your, two indoor tracks, one for speed skating or maybe three, one for speed skating events, one for figure skating events, and one for hockey events, stuff like that. So there might be some construction there, but it seems like summer is like always so much more on hardcore because you have to have that grand arena, and it has to have the massive running track with all the space in the middle for, your pole vaulting, your decathlon, and your javelin and your discus and your hammer toss and all that stuff. And then you also have to have a massive indoor arena somewhere for all the gymnastics and things like that. Like I feel like there's just more construction involved.
Yeah.
And that I just TLDR, like summer Olympics screw cities way more than Winter Olympics do. I think at the expense of disposable infrastructure.
True, definitely. No, it makes a lot of sense actually. All right, we'll rip into one more race set next. Maybe talk more Olympics too.
Maybe get a sandwich.
Oh, sandwiches? Yeah, sandwiches. Yes, Quinn, yes. All right.
Oh.
Ooh, Top Gear track.
This is an airfield.
All right.
That looks like a wall.
Top Gear track, man.